Hi, my name is Meredith, and I've been having a very touch and go day today with some very high highs and some very low lows, and right now I can feel the start of a headache coming on, and I'm shooting this in non-optimal lighting, so we will see how this goes. Thank you for watching this video on my channel. Today I'm going to talk about all the books I read in January and all the books I hope to read in February. If you saw my New Year's resolution video, you know that my goal is to read at least as many books each month as I bring in. So, for January, month number 1, a skin of my teeth success. I didn't really expect to get this many books this early. That was not part of my plan for the year. I thought I was going to come out strong and read a bunch of books early and not get any. I was on a book ban for January. But then there were residual Christmas presents and there were residual Christmas sales that I couldn't pass up. So things happen. And that's all I have to say about that. Now to get into the books I read to counteract all the books I brought in. First off, and I know I talked about this already, The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This was a holdover from last year. I read it New Year's Eve into the new year, and it is good. 5 stars. All 5 stars. It is amazing. And I got interested lately, and I think I'm gonna do a series on my Bookstagram about 1-star reviews of my 5-star books, and I poked into some of these and they're gross. Don't do it. Like, if people don't like this book, it is because they are bad people. At least off the top of my head, I can't remember seeing any reviews that were like, oh, it just wasn't for me, which are reviews I can understand. You know, everybody has their own taste. So when reviews are like, I didn't like the writing style, or I just couldn't get into it, I understand those 1-star reviews, even if I don't agree, even if I think the writing's amazing and that kind of thing. I know that different people have different tastes and different people have different opinions. It's fine. This was like, it felt like everybody who was saying no to this was like, I hate transgender people. Oh, they're forcing the transgender agenda on us again. And I'm like, really? So I didn't like that and this, but I love this. This is a good book. It is good. Listen, the headache I talked about earlier is setting in. That might be all you can get from me on all these books. Yeah, I thought it was thought-provoking. I thought it, like, this book, if you've seen my, if you haven't seen it, go see my rant against Wicked. This book does right what Wicked does wrong when it comes to examining society. Like, it doesn't just show nasty things happening, it shows them in a context and within a discussion that provokes more discussion and more critical thinking on why it is wrong. So, very good. That's book number 1. If you could count, I should have said this earlier, 7 books this month. I read 7 books this month. Woohoo! I also brought in 7 books this month, which you can go see my Tennessee book haul trailer. Thank you. I don't know if I was thanking you or my book. Let's keep this rolling. Next, and I am doing this in the order I read them, I read Hush. I think, listen, this is hard. I should have like wrote down what I gave all of these. I think this was also 5 stars. It's very, I don't know if it's because the medium is different, but I struggle a lot with mysteries because I can almost always tell where they're going and what's coming. I could not tell where this was going. Like, I thought I knew, and then I didn't, and then I did again, and then I didn't, and then I did, but I liked that I didn't. Okay, I've even lost myself. The point is, twists and turns. It makes excellent use of multiple red herrings. It's just, Batman comics get me in a way that mystery books don't. So I'm still searching for a good mystery, but in the meantime, I have Batman, and it was very good. Thanks. I'm gonna say thank you at the end of every book. Maybe. Next, I read, and that was 5-star because I remember being like, my first 2 books of the year, 5 stars. And then I read So Sad Today by Melissa Broder. And this may be controversial because I know a lot of people love this and love her, but this broke my 5-star streak. There's a lot of interesting stuff in here. I don't feel like the writing is very good, and I feel like that's almost needed in personal essays because you need to get me to know why I should care. Why is this something I should read and not just like a personal diary entry for you, you know? So either there needs to be a point to it, and I think I even like Googled her, I forget what I was Googling. It wasn't, is there a point to this? But I was Googling, I think I just Googled the book. And immediately an interview popped up where she was like, there's so many people asking what's the point, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that's what I'm asking, because I don't see the point in this book. There's some interesting things, but the book as a whole, I could have done without reading. Yeah, I feel like with personal essays, either the writing has to be really good, it has to be worth reading for the writing, or it has to be worth reading for the content, and I did not find it really worth reading for either. I would have read individual essays, I think, but the book overall did not impress me. I forget what star rating I gave it though. I don't think I bashed it. It's just not my cup of tea. Thanks. Next, I read the York Review. Oh, this headache's setting in. Issue 22. And I think she's beautiful, and they had some really good art in here, but it was also some not good art in here, and I love that. This is part of what I love about like college literary reviews, because there's so much that I'm like, I would have done that as a teenager, or I would have done that in college, and I would be cringing at myself for doing it now. And I love it. I love it because you need to learn. And you need experience to grow. And it's just so fun to me to watch some early experience of what I think are some real talents. Hello, my phone ran out of space. So guess if this is a new high or low in my day. I get chocolate. Because I've been good. I've been so good. Today's not been good back to me. Your peanut shot. I like that. What was I saying about this? I don't remember. I liked it. Thanks. Then I read The Flower Twins. Got What They Deserve. And as usual, I loved it. Because I love Ellen Colfer. But also what I've been finding with the Fowl Twins, as opposed to Artemis Fowl, like Artemis Fowl gets serious and it touches on serious things. The Fowl Twins gets morbid. Like, there's just homicidal maniacs trying to kill them in every book. Also, it ended with like this weird like finality to it, but there's like still stuff teased in the book. Like Ellen Colfer does this thing all the time where, at least in foul related things, where he'll be like, I don't know, he'll mention the Seagull King, and then he'll be like, but that's a story for another time. And you're like, what? Who's the Seagull King? Huh? And then he'll bring it back in another book. So he has, I forget what he mentioned in here. He mentioned something in here that I was like, but that's a story for another time, basically. And then there's like this weird finality at the end of the book. So it's like, okay, when are you going to tell me, Owen? Because some people are like, oh, it's a trilogy. This is the last book. Then when are you going to tell me, Owen? And what about the Seagull King? I hope these aren't done, is my point. I think I heard through the grapevine somewhere that there are more Artemis Fowl stories coming out somewhere. Or at least some Fowl related stories that also have him and have the twins. Just through the grapevine. I don't know. Thanks. And then I read Names for Light by, oh frick, by them. I'm gonna butcher it if I try it, so I'm not gonna, because not today. You could probably say there's a lot of, well, that's black space, but there's a lot of white space. It's very good. I don't think I gave it a full 5 stars just because it gets really slow at the end. And with all the white space and how quick it moves and how short the scenes are throughout the entire rest of the book, that end just threw me for a loop. And I've been blasting through it. And it took me so much longer to read the end. -1 star. She was born in Myanmar. Myanmar? Yeah. Close enough. All kinds of civil unrest going on there. All kinds of non-civil unrest going on there. Throughout multiple generations. So she talks about, but she was brought over when she was very young. So she doesn't even, and lives in America now. And she doesn't even remember coming over to America. So she's like, what is my immigration story? Because I'm an immigrant, but I can't remember. She tells her great-grandparents' stories, and her grandparents' stories, and her parents' stories, and then her own. And it's very place-based. So I would have liked a map of Myanmar to be included, but it was not. Maybe it was in the final copy. This is an ARC. Thanks. The last book I read in January, because I DNF'd it. But it gets counted because it gets it out of my TBR pile. I tried it. I said, nope, it's done. It's out of my TBR pile. I read it. Murder and Misdeeds by Helen Goodman. It was boring. It took a while to go anywhere. Too much explaining and not enough action. It's vaguely racist. Like, the black characters are like really obviously set up as like helper characters to the white characters. And yeah, and yeah. What I was talking about earlier with Hush, where I keep trying mysteries and they keep just being misses because I call the endings, and I hate that. Called the ending. I called the ending in, what was it? Maybe chapter 4, and then it just kept plonking on from there and kept being obviously who it was. And the author would try and throw in things to like throw you off, but they were so obviously things being thrown in to try and put you off that I said, it's not the wife, it's not that girl, it's not him, it's him. Like, and he's using them, and he's doing this, and it's like, and he's keeping them here, you know? I just knew. And so like even before I checked to know, I was like, I know how it's gonna end. So I was sitting on the couch and I was going, and I started skimming and just reading like a sentence a page. And my sister caught on to what I was doing, and she's like, you could just not. You could just not do that. And that is so freeing to have somebody else give you permission to not, to just stop. Just read the end, and it was exactly what I thought. So I win, and this book loses, and does it deserve a thank you? Thanks. Now, after that, I started reading Devil in Night City because a woman in a bar once said to me that it's very good and I should read it. And I said, okay. And I wrote it in my notes. So this is one I got on my Tennessee book haul. Yeah, I read it. I'm reading it almost immediately. About halfway done. I did think it was going to be more H.H. Holmes, which is a serial killer. I did not realize that like every other chapter and like hefty chapters were going to be about the World's Fair, but it's interesting. All of it's interesting. So that's really fun for me. And this is my holdover. So this is what's kicking off February. Has led me out of January into February. Thanks. Now for book plans. First off, Literary Magazine. Grub Street, issue 70. Woohoo! So cute. This is my college literary magazine. I worked on it as a fiction editor for issue 68, and the lovely faculty advisor sent me this copy when it came out. It's nice, it's thick, it's sturdy. I trust that it's going to be very good. They. My edition won awards. They overall win awards every year. Pretty much, because it's excellent. So I'm excited for this. It's been a couple years now since this came out, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But now that I'm making time for Lit Mags, I'm getting around to it. So that's exciting, and I'm happy about that. 2, my comic for the month. Wonder Woman, Her Greatest Victories. So it's just not one story, but like a bunch of different goings-ons, a bunch of different little snippets. I thought it'd be fun. I found it at Walmart when the Wonder Woman 1984 came out. I said yes please, especially because I found it on sale, and I got it. Next, for my nonfiction, I chose Gay Girl, Good God by Jackie Hill Perry. I did the other day like peek at the back of it just to be like, let me make sure that it's not like overtly anti-gay. When I picked it up, I skimmed the back, and my understanding was that she was gay and Christian, and how did those two meet, and how did she find salvation even while the church was kind of telling her that that's not okay for her as a gay woman. I more recently read her bio and saw that she is married to a man with and they have 2 kids. So I wanted to make sure it wasn't like, oh, and I learned that being gay is evil. Because I would have been sad. I think I got this at like a Dollar Tree though, so I wouldn't have been that sad. But I would have been sad that I paid for it and it sucked before I even read it. But I skimmed the back, and it doesn't look like it's dismissing queerness. It looks like it's dismissing the gospel of heterosexuality, which is not really the be-all end-all of Christianity. And I agree with that. And that seems to be the stance she's taking. Like, why are we putting so much emphasis on marriage? Why are we putting so much emphasis on, heterosexuality when that's not really like the big thing? Yeah, I'm interested. I still don't know entirely where this is gonna go, what exact stance she's gonna take, but just based off of what I saw from her big sum up at the end, I am interested to see her thoughts and where she does go with it. Fiction. Some Luck by Jane Smiley. I chose this because my mom Santa got it for me for Christmas. And then in the new year, I was reading The Vanishing Half. And I was like, this book is really, really good. And I said that to my mom. And my mom said, oh, where'd you get it? And I said, oh, I just have it around. So I feel like I should read a book that was gotten for me, as specifically one that she got for me. I hope it's good, because then I can go and be like, hey, this is really good. Thanks for getting it for me. I'm struggling, can you tell? And last, I got confused when I was picking these out. And I decided I need to pick a poetry collection. Is that something I said I was gonna do? Because I picked one. The Poem at the End of the Mine. Selected Poems. And a play. It's by Wallace Stevens. Edited by Holly Stevens. It's pretty thick. It's pretty thick for poetry. So I hope it's good. It's marked up. It's marked up. I love when books are marked up. Not like to a ridiculous point, but little marks here and there. I love hearing what other people think, especially while I'm reading. So that's fun. That's all I had to say about that. In summary, if you saw my last video, my haul from Tennessee, you'll know that I got a book stamp for my friend. All of these books have been stamped. They're officially a part of my library. This thing has not been. It's not mine. I don't claim it. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. Check back next week.